Ericsson knows something about the broadband technology, but the idea of cloud is relatively new. Right? Not too many companies can claim that they're really leaders, and those who claim that they're looking at this in terms of cloud are doing it for relatively simple applications today, or focusing on private cloud or cloud in the big enterprises, but no one has been able to actually connect broadband, mobile, and cloud to create the new business infrastructure on which all these industries are going to create and capture value. And it kind of articulates this view that the intersection of mobile, broadband, and the cloud is the new industry of industries. So we can't really look at industries the way we thought about industry in the industrial age, because that is based on creating physical products. But now the new infrastructure is this mobility, broadband, and the cloud, which means logistics is part of it, transportation is part of it, media is part of it, healthcare is part of it, energy is part of it. All these are being created on this new digital infrastructure. So if you look at this idea of network society for the case, what you very quickly realize is that we've come a long way in a very short time, right? I remember this. I don't know whether you remember this. I remember holding one of these and saying, this is cool, right? Because you were taking something that was otherwise a fixed line and taking it mobile. And we even used to use things like cordless phone. Because even the language system that we used to describe is that the phones, all we have done is to cut the cord and taken it out. Even now we call that a mobile phone. I don't know how many of you actually use it to make calls compared to doing so many other things. But we start using this word phone as if it really describes the voice conversation rather than everything else that we can do in this device that we have. And that's only 20 years old, right? So it's not that far back. And it's now basically become ubiquitous, right? So it's no longer something that is for the privileged few. It's pretty much all over the world. So it's really very appropriate to fit this in the context of an international tech strategy business case competition, because this is now pervasive. This is not something that wherever you're coming from one part of the world, you may have a different viewpoint on what you do with the technology, but it's become pervasive. But the starting point for the case, again, the idea of network society is this particular quote. An unemployed single mother saying, my cell phone is my tool for change and my ticket to the rest of the world. So this is not about you and I using it for Facebook. It's not just for social change that's happened in the Middle East or in North Africa. This is going to be the way that lots of people are going to access information, access services, and really part of them becoming a productive member of the society. So what I like to do is just get you to think about this network society beyond leisure and communication. So focus your mind on the idea of network society away from all that you might have seen in previous cases in which we're focusing on how do we deliver fixed price, a variable price, and all you can eat and broadband and fixed broadband and mobile broadband, to now focus on using the technology to do things good. Right? So it's beyond leisure and communication. And the 50 billion connection is the starting point of the network society beyond leisure and communication. And the building blocks are already in place by 2011. Like the 4G is happening. And if you've seen some of the speeds of 4G, it's actually quite profound. And so the timing is right to actually begin to look at the idea of the network society. So Ericsson in 2011 is squarely positioned in the network society at the intersection of broadband, mobility, and cloud. And they formed a very interesting alliance with a company in Boston. And that was before we even laid out this case competition, and this happened just a few weeks back. A company called Akamai. And Akamai is a leader in accelerating the fixed internet. And now they've combined with Ericsson to accelerate the mobile internet. which is also putting in place the foundation for this network society. So the case really focuses on network society in two sectors.
Quick question, what do you mean by accelerate fixed internet and then mobile internet?
What Akamai does is if you use the Akamai services, your websites will load faster on the browser than if your content provider doesn't use the Akamai network. So if you're Amazon, and if Amazon is not an Akamai client, when you try to load the Amazon web page, it will be slower. So which means two competitors may want you to access the e-commerce site or whatever else that you want to do, but in one you will see those spinning wheels, and the other one you don't see. So the whole idea is that you see spinning wheels in your mobile internet. Today in many websites, their idea is that in a few years, that latency will be gone. Yeah?
No, I was just going to say Akamai is like a CDN.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Right, so you can go take a look at the company and see what they're doing. But the idea is that you want to be able to get the same thing on the mobile space. Yeah.
Just on that, it's a CDN, but how do you how do you differentiate between mobile internet and fixed internet on that? Because I think CDN would work equivalently for both.
Now.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
But once you think about a mobile device that goes through the cell towers,
Yeah.
Akamai doesn't accelerate that. Right? So they're trying to create the new capability. So think of it as no one has been able to take mobility, broadband, and cloud together now. But in the 2015 time frame, that is going to happen. When that infrastructure happens, what is going to be the impact in creating, delivering services for healthcare and delivering services on the energy and utility sector, rather than think of mobile devices today for the kind of applications that we use today, which in Hans's words are really leisure and communication. We haven't made a dent in impacting the world the way it should be, right? Okay? So obviously the case is set globally, so you can pick any part of the world that's interesting to you, obviously, and then focus on it because we got people from all over the world. So we pick on it from where it makes sense. And if you look at the sectors, the pieces are already in place right now, right? GE is trying to create mobile devices in which you can have various types of scans. You've got mobile apps, and you've got weighing scales that are wirelessly connected onto the Wi-Fi network that can send your weigh data. And lots and lots of technology companies are jockeying in the healthcare space. So we really cannot look at the healthcare without looking at the digital technologies, the way the transformation is occurring. And the same thing with the energy sector. The smart grid will not happen without digital technology. The inefficiency that we see today in the energy sector will not be overcome without the digital technology. So how do we take the idea of fixed and mobile, combine it, because things we can do in the apps, things that we can do in the hand, things that we can do once we instrument all these things are going to allow us to do things that we couldn't do today. Same thing with the electric car, right? We really cannot think about the digital technologies. We cannot think about the transportation into the electrification without thinking about the mobile technology. And again, all kinds of companies are jockeying in that particular space. So think of the two sectors, healthcare and energy. How will the mobile internet influence and shape the network society in those two sectors?